Yeah, as I was basically saying, mate, I get where you're coming from. I think there's things to criticize. We did on the match reaction, but I do think there's I've got a personal crusade this year of challenging VAR and its decisions, and I won't personally ignore them when they're wrong. And I did feel that, I don't know if the ball went out or not. My view was Man United wasn't conclusive, and you gave it as out, so the camera angles look pretty much the same as you should. I thought it was a foul on Gabriel. It definitely hit Joe Linton's arm, and then it hits his arm, hits his leg, and then goes to Gordon, who would have been offside. So, in terms of the goal shouldn't have stood. Which means
I agree with you in that sense. Yeah, the goal shouldn't have stood, but I don't think the ball went out. Yeah, and if it's not conclusive, which it wasn't, which winds me up anyway, why have they not got a camera bang in line with that goal, like in line with the post at either side, so you can see if the ball goes out? Yeah, why don't they have overhead technology? Yeah, they have a drone or a camera flying on a string around the stadium above the players. Why don't they put a VAR on that? Like a VAR camera on that?
Yeah, they absolutely 110% should.
I think it looked, to me, I think it was in, right? But like I said, that's irrelevant. It's irrelevant because for me, if it's in or out, why have 3 of our players stopped? That's more of a problem for me than that being in or out. Why are they all ball watching? Why are they all stand there having a mother's meeting in the penalty box? Yeah, Jorginho, experienced player, played in Champions League final, played for Chelsea, played in a Euros final. He's played for Chelsea in some big games. So for me, I'm like, why are you not telling Ben White to go and press that guy, Gordon? Why is Saliba just standing, looking around like, well, I'm lost? Yeah, it was embarrassing.
Mate,
sorry, go on, mate. When that ball comes in, he's got a free cross. The goalkeeper, I don't know what he's doing. Yeah, and I want to back this goalkeeper. I really do, because I think his level's better than Ramsdale. But he just hasn't shown me anything yet. There, he looks out of his depth. Maybe the pressure's killing him. I don't know. Because he's Arteta's man. I think that's been proven. And he's come in to a football club that has to win something, or for me, they have to win something. Most of our fans probably disagree. But I think Arteta does want to win. I'm being serious. Most of our fans are just happy with Champions League, Terry. I'll tell you this every week. Right? But for me, if the goalkeeper's in that position, you're expecting to come out and claim the ball. We'll come out and claim it then. Yeah, instead he don't. He just runs around in a circle. Gabriel, I think the reason that was not given, and I do think that's a foul, right? I think that's the only one. I don't think that the offside, I'm not sure. Whether it went out, I'm not sure. But I would say that is a foul. But again, 10 minutes before that, we've seen Callum Wilson put Gabriel on his backside by barely touching him. Yeah, put his hand around his throat and just tapped him, and he's rolling around holding his face. Did that go against him? Because we've seen Gabriel do this in every game, mate.
Yeah, no,
he gets touched and he's rolling around theatrically. So for me, I can understand why they gave it, but it shouldn't have been given.
No, I get you.
But again, just one more thing. Sorry, I know you want to go. One more thing, right? The one thing the last thing I'll say on this, we should not be relying on VAR to get us through a game. When you're trying to go for a title, we know VAR is going to mess it up week in, week out, not just for my club, but for your club and every other club. We know this, so don't put the game in their hands. Yeah, and last season, we barely did that. Like last season, we had a couple ones here and there, but we've also had some go for us as well, Terry. I think people forget this. You know, Crystal Palace last season, handball, first game of the season, Gabriel again. Yeah, didn't get given. Liverpool, handball, Gabriel again, didn't get given. Yeah, we've had a few go for us.
Well, that's why I'm going to say this. Firstly, by the way, that it's, I don't know if it's Mark controlling it, but that's football's real account. You can't on YouTube, you can't fake the verification tick. So that is him. I think that you're right to criticize elements of your team on Saturday, and I don't live in this polarized world where you can't criticize elements of the performance. I also don't live in this world where you should ignore poor refereeing decisions because of the way you performed. Equally, where you're also spot on is, this isn't, like I said to you earlier, I don't believe there's a conspiracy against Arsenal. I don't believe there's a conspiracy against Man United. I don't believe there is a conspiracy against any particular team. There is just incompetence and inconsistencies. But where I think this is becoming interesting is the way the Gary Nevilles, the Jamie Carragher's, etc. are talking about. And Jamie Carragher, whether he meant to express it in this way or not, did. He said, I love what Arteta said after the game, blah, 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 blah. I didn't agree with him though, but it made great television. And that's almost where I feel like they're coming from. Certain clubs get punished by VAR. For instance, when Wolves didn't get the penalty against us
this season.
Yeah, they've been done loads of times. But when Man United got the decision in their favour against Wolves, all these same journalists, all these same media outlets are now saying, don't attack refs. We're out there full force. This is a disgrace. Something needs to happen. Arsenal come out full force saying we've been robbed of a decision which could cost us. And now suddenly the mainstream media's view is stop moaning about it. We should be more supportive of referees as an example. And I do believe the conspiracy theory I've got, if you want to call it that, isn't about Arsenal United and ruining them. It's about how the media spins it for particular clubs to create more drama. Does that make sense? Because what will happen
in a nutshell, Terry. Look,
I hear you. That's the element of this that's frustrating me is hearing
what they do. They go
professionals not tell the truth.
Terry, they do it every week. The top 4 race is heating up. There is no top 4 race. You either win the league or you ain't won anything. Like, it's not a race to get into another competition that you're not going to take seriously. Like, but they love the drama, and football fans have been sucked down this road and pigeonholed into that to believe that fourth is something special and should be celebrated. For me, it ain't. I'm old, Terry. I'm an old man. I grew up on you either win the league to qualify for European Cup or you ain't in it. Yeah, and I know probably people say you're a grumpy bastard and all of that, which is cool. Maybe I am, especially when it comes to my football club, because I've seen it systematically destroyed in front of me. Yeah, but when it comes to Sky, for example, they will highlight anything that is going to, so anything that's going to damage their product by having to go at the referees constantly, week in, week out, that could damage their product. Yeah, that could damage their product. Yeah, look at when the Super League was being touted to be a thing. Yeah, all of a sudden, they've unlocked it in my region. All of a sudden in Spain, I can watch Sky Sports on YouTube. Yeah, I can't watch any of the interviews on Sky Sports from the weekend. I can't see any of the footage for the goals. Yeah, obviously I can watch them. I can watch the zone to get the highlights. I can watch the games anyway. But the point is, I can't watch any of their footage unless somebody else has clipped it up somewhere and put it out there. Right, so I only see barely 10% of what they're saying on Sky Sports, which is a good thing because they don't have it out here. Right, but my point is, anything that will damage their reputation as a company or their brand, right? Because they are the market leader, should you say? They were the first ones to start doing it on a grand scale. Yeah, they were the ones to get Andy Gray and Richard Keys, the founders, and all of this, and building it up, and it was great back then. But they've took it to an extreme where now I think that they're just milking it. Like absolutely milking it. Look at the amount of times. I didn't even know this, Terry, right? Sorry to cut you off there. One more thing and I'll shut up.
That's right.
I didn't even know until day before yesterday, I think it was. No, it was yesterday. When I dropped my mates back to the airport yesterday, and they're both Arsenal. One of them's giving a season ticket back at the end of the season after 51 years. He's had enough. Yeah, he's had enough. And that's what I'm saying. A lot of older, they've had enough. But anyway, the point I want to get to, I said, how comes we always get West Ham on Boxing Day? Yeah, I said, it seems like we get West Ham on Boxing Day. He said, no, the game's been changed. We ain't got a Boxing Day game now. I said, what are you talking about? I said, no, we're playing on the 28th now. I said, really? He goes, yeah. I said, well, how are we playing Fulham 2 days later? He goes, no, that's on New Year's Eve now. And that is for TV. Yeah, that is for TV. They control everything, Sky Sports. Yeah, BT to a lesser degree, but Sky get the majority of the games. Sky run the narrative. Yeah, and anyone who goes against the narrative, see you later.
So I totally agree that they are adding dramatization to this. What's interesting about it is this: that when I feel the Premier League was at its most best, where we had the majority, well, not the majority of best teams, but when we had the strongest top 4 we've ever had, was that kind of 03-04 period to about 2012, 2013. The reason I say that is because every single season, our top 4 was predominantly Arsenal, Man United, Liverpool, Chelsea. And most of those seasons, all of us had a chance of winning that Champions League. Does that make sense? You guys got to finals and semis. I know you started to drift towards the end of that period, but we were all in that period good enough to win it. And the Premier League and the Sky Sports were flourishing. We all now, listen, I want to be in the Champions League and I want to believe that I can win it. But where I agree with you is this notion of some teams get into the Champions League and you get this kind of hyping up of, or maybe Man United can win it. We know we ain't winning the Champions League. In our heart of hearts, we know we're not doing it. So I don't want to hear, I'd rather hear the professional pundits play it down. what we're seeing with Spurs, like we see people, I saw someone on Sky today saying they're definitely in the title race. Why can't they win it? And everyone's like, yeah, they can. I'm thinking, you're gaslighting Spurs fans into believing they're better than they are right now. And I think for me, but last year when you guys were looking really good, even when you were believing, Lee, you were like, I think we might do it.
After we beat Man United, I thought we'd win the league.
I know, exactly. But what they did to Arsenal last year was a reverse, kept them playing it down. And it's all for what I call the Kardashian effect. It's to create additional drama, talking points, debates, which I understand that from fans doing it with each other. But getting it from your professional pundits and then being disingenuous with it, there's something about it that don't feel
because
right.
What they're doing is they're gaslighting, like you said, they're gaslighting Tottenham fans into believing that they are in a title race. Let's just be real with it. They're not. Yeah, they've had a great start to the season. They've got some fantastic players, some of which I wanted at Arsenal. Maddison, Bissouma. Yeah, Van der Ven looks a top player. The goalkeeper made a great save. Great save again last night and has looked brilliant this season. Yeah, the left back who got sent off, he's been brilliant so far until that red card. Yeah, they've got some very, very good players there. Son, we obviously know, can score goals. And Kulusevski fell off a little bit last season, but he looks back to what he was at the start of it. So you know they've got a decent core of players there. But when you look at their bench, they're bringing on Højbjerg and Eric Dyer, who I thought played pretty well last night when they came on. And the drop-off is crazy, Terry. Yeah. In what way, shape or form does anyone at Sky Sports or any other media out there think that that team is going to surpass Manchester City? Forget Arsenal, forget Liverpool, forget Man United, forget Chelsea, Newcastle maybe you could put in there, Villa perhaps, whatever. What makes them think that they're going to overtake Man City? Because what they're doing is they're gassing them up so high that they all start believing, so that when it all does unravel, Sky, oh, wow, what a mad capitulation that was, and make a whole new load of drama out of it at the back end. Yeah, and that is exactly what they do. I see through what they do all the time. Yeah, and I'm so lucky they ain't got Sky over it. Yeah, they have their own outlets over it. They have DAZN, they have Movistar Plus and stuff like that, proper channels.
Mate,
they don't have all of this rubbish. They still have their panelists.
Yeah.
But the panelists on DAZN, the Spanish football especially, like I'll give an example. For English football games over here, we get every game. Every single game is part of my package, which is $24.99 a month. Get every single Premier League game. I get most of the League Cup games, get some FA Cup games, and I get all the Spanish League, and I get Italian League, Portuguese, a few other leagues there. On the English games, they just cut straight to adverts at half time for 15 minutes. No pundits. As soon as the game's done, you see the handshakes at the end, and they cut the footage. Don't need all the crap. When it comes to their Spanish games, the La Liga games, they'll have a big build-up, but they'll have, like, say Real Madrid are playing, they'll have Guti on the side of the pitch. Yeah, it's that, and I can understand a little bit, or quite a bit of Spanish. He's standing there saying, yeah, Real Madrid, they really need to win this game, otherwise it ain't acceptable, drawing with Vallecano and blah, blah, blah. You don't see him sitting there going, right, yeah, this is it. They're going to go out and wallop them 6-0, I think, blah, blah, blah.
No, yeah, I hear you. It's become sanitized.